an international for the Puerto Rican national team. He's the starting netminder for them. Off into the corner, and it is not trapped by Omar Gordon. And you can see Oklahoma City Energy, minus the goal, the way they're going to come at you is long balls out of the back, off and into the corner. Obviously, Gordon had a little trouble handling that one for the goal kick, but this is something that Steve Cook is going to have his guys trying just to test that high line of El Paso out.
Yeah, I believe that's a third long ball that's been played by OKC. I think they really want to highlight and showcase their athleticism up front with Gordon, Brown, and Cato. So I think that's going to be something for El Paso to look out for.
Logan Ketterer, I think, not where he wanted that ball to go. It rolls into touch for Energy FC. Headed clear again by Fox. And it's offside. Deshaun Brown a step ahead of Chiro and Toko. The Belgian coming over from Eastern Europe, where he has played for a few years of his long soccer career. And it'll roll into touch for OKC is perhaps Locomotive showing some of those first game jitters. It's got to be difficult when you're a first-year squad. It's the first time you've been in front of the home crowd. There's a sellout to watch you play, and things don't go your way early.
Yeah, these guys are professionals, though, so they'll take a couple of minutes to settle themselves down. And I think once they get a hold of the ball and they settle down a little bit, we'll see better from Paso. Right now, OKC's had the better run of play. They've been able to control and dictate the game a little bit, but I think El Paso, again, once they settle down and get those first couple of minutes out of their system, they'll be good.
And you saw Deshaun Brown challenge Logan Ketterer again. Energy FC working a bit of possession here out of the back. Rafael Garcia came up in the Galaxy system. Galaxy 2 has played in Major League Soccer as well, won an MLS Cup, actually 2, with the senior side. But here is Richie Ross. Good to have an experienced hand to settle things down. And from the right wing, they're trying to play it into Salgado. And it'll be out for a corner. First corner of the game going to Locomotive FC.
That's well done by Derek, taking on the player Kyle 1v1, looking to get a cross off. I think if he can do that all game or for a good majority of the game, they'll have a lot of success tonight.
6 foot, 155-pounder from Jacksonville. The Jacksonville Armada of the NASL, of course, where Mark Lowry was an assistant and a head coach. And it will be a throw-in.
Looks like we had someone down. I'm not sure who that it was. I think that was Rafa Garcia, it looks like.
So in the early going, El Paso will throw the ball in. And it is Gebhardt. Well done to Salgado, working for a bit of space. The cross from Gebhardt. Lots of white jerseys around. Bounces nicely, but Contreras not able to control in the area.
And we see Omar use his strength and his ability to hold the ball off to get the team a quality cross there. Unfortunately, when he's doing that, he's not the one getting on the end of it. So he's going to have to find that balance between that hold-up play and being on the end of those crosses.
James Kiffey played into space for Salgado and cleared. Atiba Harris, you want to talk about a long-time Major League Soccer veteran. That is Atiba Harris, the St. Kitts and Nevis International. Here's Ross, Contreras, and now out to Gebhardt. Gebhardt on the wing. Ross, I think, maybe a little more forward than the design works for him to be, and it is touched by OKC Energy. It will be a corner. And this will be the first corner of the game.
Good spell of possession for Paso there, and they earn a corner off of it.
It'll be Contreras, the Argentinian, deep into that corner. Just in camera view. The sellout crowd to their feet. The cross headed down and out for the goal kick.
I'm surprised they didn't look to find Chiro in Toko on that corner. He scored a great header off during one of their preseason game. He's one of the bigger players on the team, so I'm surprised they didn't look to target him. And they went to James Kiffey instead.
Kiffey springing out. Had an open header. He did get clear, but wasn't able to knot it in on target. As the Energy tend to an injured player. An absolutely gorgeous night for soccer. I know you're relatively new to El Paso, Michael. Have you ever experienced mud rain before?
Definitely not. I was a little confused last night when it was raining and the dust and the wind and the sand. It was a little confusing. The car definitely wasn't as clean as I wanted it, but we got through it.
That's Deshaun Brown having to walk this one off, and apparently an open wound. You could tell he reacted when they ran to disinfect it. He will have to come off the field until he is waved off or waved back on by center referee Matthew Thompson. They're going to have to work on that chair. Just going to have to work on it. It is not what you want to see, and obviously it's the opening game. Lots of soccer fans in this area. This is a city that knows its game. The long clearance having to be cleared off his line is Ketterer. Locomotive will get possession. Good work by Ketterer, but that was brave.
OKC seems to be having a little bit of success with that long ball. In Toko, Chiro, and Mishak are looking to be having some trouble with it. I'm sure they'll definitely need to sort that out. Something Coach Mark is probably barking to them over on the sideline, so look for them to fix that.
Ball rolls into touch for Energy FC. Been around the USL since 2014 and survived kind of a battle of attrition with Rayo OKC of the NASL, which is a whole league that has its issues. But Energy FC alive and kicking in its 6th season of play. Contreras, high press, and there's Deshaun Brown. Dangerous pass by Contreras, but Mishak Jerome, the Haitian, able to get it up. Ross, it'll roll into touch, and Energy FC quickly on it. Brown slips. Contreras trying to turn, played into space. Salgado on it, but so is Cody Lorendi.
Good idea from Sebastian. They're looking to find Omar on the through ball. Definitely impeded a little bit, but I don't think the referee saw enough to call it a foul.
Rafa Garcia switches the ball. Mikhail Williams. Garcia. Played into space. Brown trying to get there, and it'll fall nicely for Logan Ketterer. Well, Oklahoma City happy to play out of the back. Those long balls actually from midfield. And as you say, they've had some early success. Locomotive looking to possess the ball, but Energy FC seems pretty comfortable with it. Garcia to Gordon. Dealt with pretty well by Fox. And it'll roll into touch for El Paso.
Yeah, OKC's doing a great job of connecting a few passes and then looking to use their athleticism on the outsides and up front with Deshaun Brown to get in behind. They're sucking in El Paso with some of the short, small possession play and then looking to exploit over the top with the bigger ball.
All the way up for Nick Ross. And well shielded by OKC. Energy will earn the throw in. Giro and Toko. And Ketterer, good sidestep by Ntoko. Gets himself some room. Locomotive does want to possess. They do want to play out of the back.
Great composure there by Churro. One thing we've seen a lot is Sebastian finding the ball. He's a slightly different player from Luis Chapa Herrera that played in the preseason game. So you'll see Sebastian get on the ball a little bit more in this game and look to create for them.
Cordell Cato playing back, and Energy FC with possession looking to reset. You can tell a lot of that comes from Rafa Garcia. He missed on that pass for a throw for Locomotive. But number 7 kind of patrolling that number 6 role and doing a pretty solid job of it in the early going.
Yeah. One thing we noticed about him in the preseason game is not only is he quality on the ball, but he's also willing to tackle. He's a tough central midfield player.
Kiffy, nicely done. Floating that one in. And it'll go for the goal kick. Salgado. All he needs is an inch of space. El Paso zone, Omar Salgado.
It's well worked by El Paso. Got some patience, was able to switch the ball. Great cross from James Kiffy. Fortunate for Omar not to get enough on it to get in the back of the net.
Like he was stumbling just a touch there at the very last. Cordell Cato. Gonna float that one into the middle. Rebellon. That was hopeful, but why not take a stab when you've got somebody 6'4" on the other side of it? Omar Salgado, first pick by the Vancouver Whitecaps in the 2011 draft, trying to wind up and fire one. Rafa Garcia stands in the way to put it into touch. I'm going to talk about a great career. Oh, nifty. Little sombrero action. Contreras looking to get loose. Does, rolls it into the box and scoring! The tie goal by Gebhardt.
And that's why Sebastian is in the lineup. Obviously, in that first preseason game against OKC, in that he didn't get a lot of minutes in there. But Coach Mark looked to bring him in and start him in this game because that's what he's capable of. He's nifty, he's quick, he's got quality feet, and he's able to serve a quality ball for Derek on that goal. Well done by Sebastian.
16th minute to even the score. Well, they had some fireworks scheduled to come after the game. I think we've seen plenty in the opening 16 plus minutes.
As I said, all El Paso needed to do was settle down a little bit and play their brand of soccer. I think that goal will definitely settle them even more and look to get them on the ball more.
Okay, sweet. OKC looking to switch that one. Well dealt with again by Fox. I think they're coming after Fox a little bit down that wing. As Omar Garden got ahead to it.
Not sure if they're so much coming after Fox or just looking to use Cato quite a bit. He's one of their key players. He's got a lot of pace, so why not use that?
There's Ross. Brother Richie Ryan, and it'll be another Oklahoma City throw. For Energy FC, Mikhail Williams. Played with the Richmond Kickers last year. Looking like he's trying to set up for a long throw. Goes short. Brown. You can see his quality. Fox with him step for step. Well played by El Paso Contreras. And they will call the foul. Omar Salgado impeded by Atiba Harris. Well, you can't tell me the veteran didn't know what was coming if he let him loose.
No, definitely not. Great job by Omar to hold him off, use his strength. Use that 6'4" frame to hold the ball up and get them a free kick.
Beset by injuries early in his professional career, Omar Salgado, the first signing for this team before it even had a name, before he had a coach, before anything. He was the first, and he wanted to come back home.
Yeah, it's always great to play in front of your family, in front of your friends. I think this is definitely something that he's been looking for his entire career, and it's taken him a while to get here, but he's excited to be back here in El Paso, representing El Paso.
Kiffy played back to Fox. He'll put it into a spot. Well dealt with. Looked like a very hopeful long ball, but Gebhardt was on it. Great press. Ross, the cross. Easily picked up by Lorendi, but you can see that possession game starting to yield some dividends.
Yeah, and they're also showing that not only can they play the possession, the small, short passes, but they can also go big a little bit. Derek on the outside, he's got a bit of pace on him, so they're looking to use him as well, the same way OKC's looking to exploit Cato on this side.
Logan Ketterer coming to El Paso from the Columbus Crew organization. Again, another solid pass. Omar Salgado showing off the footwork. We'll go back, and pressing up is Andrew Fox to Contreras. The Argentinian will spray it wide. Rebellon.
It's a good spell of possession here, being patient, working the ball side to side, looking for the right moment to go forward.
Contreras back to Rebellon. Argentina to Colombia. Fox missed on that, but will get it back from Atiba Harris, and here is Fox. Good work to steer it back out to the left by Salgado. And Kiffy and Fox. Left wing seeing a lot of action in the early going.
Here's a possession style that Coach Mark really wants to play. The players are being patient, looking for the right moment to go forward, forcing OKC to step up out of their defensive shell so they can find space to play through.
Into the middle. And Salgado. No foul, says Mr. Thompson. You can tell this crowd is not only into it for Locomotive FC, this is a crowd that knows the sport. As one of the things about playing in El Paso is that one's chipped back, Ketterer handling it easily. It's a crowd. You walk around the mall and you see just as many international soccer jerseys, especially from Liga MX, as you do NFL jerseys some days.
Yeah, this is definitely a city that's very rich in soccer. You have the Bravos, who are just right over the border in Mexico. So this is definitely a city and a community that's familiar with the game, that loves the game, and is really, really excited that the Locomotives are here in town.
Contreras double teamed. He's looking for a foul and won't get one. Good work by Callum Ross, the Newcastle, England native. They'll put that one in. Dangerous. Gordon's coming in. Ketterer makes the stop and clears it. Deshaun Brown, the cross, deflected and off the side netting. It will be a corner. James Kiffy. Probably too hard an angle, but as we see in the replay, Omar Gordon showing the wheels up the wing.
Yeah, we talked about the pace of the OKC players up, the three players of OKC up front, with Deshaun Brown, Omar Gordon, and Cordell Cato. Those guys have some wheels on them, and we saw it there with the ball over the top and them looking to get in behind.
Alexi Bassetti, as Thompson having to separate a bit of a scrum at the edge of the 18. Bassetti, French international, at least for their youth teams. Wearing the number 10 for Energy FC, another offseason acquisition, and cleared away by Meshach Jerome. Nodded forward, trying to control. Contreras will. Good work with Derek Gebhardt, and lots of open space for James Kiffy. Will take a spot, and Locomotive will work the possession game.
Thought James could have played that ball a little sooner to Omar, or even play it to Omar. Omar was a little upset that he didn't get that pass. I'm sure that's something that they'll speak about and talk about at halftime.
Richie Ryan. How nice is it to have a guy with Richie Ryan's experience just settling things down to that number 6 role?
It's immense. At 34 years old, he's played all over the world, so he's able to calm the players down when there's a little bit of anxiousness.
It's onside. Well cleared. Meshach Jerome takes it off the feet of Alexi Bassetti. Didn't have the wheels to get around him. But another corner for Energy FC, this time from their left side.
We've seen a couple of the players slip a little bit on the field. I'm not sure if that's because this is normally a baseball ballpark or if they're wearing the wrong footwear. We'll be interested to see how that goes as the game gets on and how the players adjust to the field.
Bassetti. Driving cross, flipped up by Richie Ryan and Gebhardt. A foul called on Rafa Garcia.
He's going to be lucky not to get a card here. He grabbed him around the neck. I'm surprised the referee's not reaching into his pocket for a card.
Was dangerous. You can tell Rafa Garcia is a bit of the enforcer. First goal in Locomotive history, scored by Derek Gebhardt. You can tell why Mark Lowry brought him over from Jacksonville Armada. Locomotive will keep possession, and they're going to call a foul on Richie Ryan, who doesn't agree with it.
Have to be careful there not to get himself carded.
Coming over from FC Cincinnati in the USL, of course, FC Cincinnati making the jump to Major League Soccer this season. But a great program in the USL Championship as we see the foul. Well dealt with, not able to control it is Gordon, and Fox and Kiffey push that one up the wing.
Much better there by James Kiffey, looking to find Omar Salgado. Might have forced that one a little bit, but it's the right idea. You've got to look to get him on the ball as much as possible. He's a big part of what this team is looking to do, and he's going to be a big part of their success.
Chiro and Toko. Briam Rebellon. Andrew Fox, they give him some time. He rolls a great ball into Salgado. Looking for a foul. How about that strip? Kiffey. And Oklahoma City Energy FC roll it in for a throw.
We're going to have to keep our eye on that battle between Atiba Harris and Omar Salgado. It looks like there's a bit of pulling going on between the two of them. So I'm sure Omar just had a word with the referee and told him to keep his eye on for the jersey grab.
Long cross into the box. Having to deal with it, and doing so is Cody Lorendi.
It's a great cross. Omar was a little, again, the experience of Atiba Harris keeping Omar away from the ball. That is definitely a matchup I'm interested to continue to watch over the course of the game.
Well, Atiba Harris, he's been everywhere. Originally selected by Chivas USA, he's played with the Whitecaps, Rapids, Earthquakes, St. Kitts and Nevis team captain, and the first St. Kitts and Nevis player to sign a Major League Soccer contract. He has done some yeoman's work in the top level of the American soccer pyramid for years and years. Trying to find Ross. That one will roll for the goal kick.
We've seen Mishak get on the ball quite a bit for the Locomotives, looking to play some bigger balls, whether in over the top, into the space, or into Omar Salgado. He's one of the players that can jumpstart their offense and get them going. So we'll look to see him get on the ball quite a bit in this game.
Jerome puts a head to it. Chiro and Toko. Salgado. But on him was Kyle Highland, and the ball bounced his way. Harris. Ketterer will keep it in play.
With this high line that the Locomotives are playing, it's going to be really important that Logan Ketterer stays alert, and he's off his line a little bit so he can pick off any ball that gets played through. So that's something to keep your eye on, is what his positioning is like. I'm not sure what it was like on that first goal, but I think that's something he's going to make an adjustment to make sure he's able to sweep up anything that's played over the top behind the back line.
The 8th notch, as they call themselves, getting things started here at Southwest University Park. Derek Gebhardt falling away. He does earn the foul. And you can see Energy FC is having to grab a little bit extra now. And around the back, solid call by Thompson. Kyle Highland dragged Gebhardt off of the ball.
I like that the referee's letting him play a little bit. He's letting the game go. It's not to the point where it's dangerous or reckless. So I like that he's allowing a physical game to play. I think the fans will appreciate that.
And it'll be the Irishman, Richie Ryan, to restart play.
Look for this ball to be whipped into his second post.
Decides to roll it. Contreras. That was hopeful.
Definitely not what he was looking to do.
So a goal kick for Oklahoma City Energy FC. Their head coach, Steve Cook. We talked a little bit about him being a part of the Colorado Rapids organization, which is how he was able to bring in Deshaun Brown. Obviously, less than 30 seconds into the match. That's a great pickup. Steve Cook 12, 15, and 7, but Energy FC wanting to make some noise after missing the playoffs last season.
It's a big reason why they invested in went and got 11 new players this year. I think that they've definitely looked to boost their roster a little bit, so we'll see how that works out for them.
Contreras to Salgado. Locomotive looking to control the pace and the passes. Mishak Jerome. Looked like he had an idea, didn't quite work out the way he wanted. Good touch to bring it out of trouble, Bassetti. And Rafa Garcia will reset it. The 8th notch. Beautiful tifo just before the match. Here's Andrew Fox. Mishak Jerome. Rebellon. Double teamed, and they're going to call a foul. Great work by Omar Salgado. And you see Thompson tightening things up just a little bit.
I'm sure that has a lot to do with that conversation that Omar had with the referee a couple of minutes earlier. He's letting him know, hey, I need you to keep your eye on the grab and the pulling, and it pays off in that moment.
So call this one about 36 yards out, but very dangerous.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Mishak Jerome try this on goal. He's got a quality shot on him. I wouldn't put it past them to try this. I've also seen Sebastian take a couple of free kicks and actually score one in preseason when they played the Bravo. So you can't go wrong with either of these two.
Mishak Jerome can bring the heat on the ball, and he's going to get a big run up here. Jerome sends it through the bounce. It's deflected by the wall and picked up by Lorendi.
Wall did their job there. Took a little bit of the sting off the shot. I'm sure that Cody is really happy with the wall there.
Looked like Jerome maybe thought that the wall might jump as we take a look. But if he thought that, it didn't work out that way. Either that or the ball came in so fast, he didn't give him a chance to jump. He's the guy the Locomotive want to send it in from distance. And he can do it. Here's Harris.
OKC being a little patient here, looking for the right moment. to go forward. I don't imagine they'll try to play through El Paso. They're just looking to shift them side to side until they look to go big into one of their wingers.
Pushed out for a throw by Fox, but another deep throw, or throw in a deep area for Energy FC. Mikael Williams, nicely done by Gordon. Good move. Fox stays with him. They'll reset. Callum Ross. Big shot, but it's wide from Kyle Hyland. Tried his luck. The Bay Village, Ohio native. 80th game in an OKC Energy uniform. That is first all time for this Energy FC team in its 6th season of play.
I think Andrew Fox has done well to adjust to that ball that they're looking to play over the top into Cordell Cato. Again, I think he's going to have to do that all game. He's going to have to be alert and on his toes and ready for that ball if El Paso is going to look to shut that down.
Contreras wanted a handball call. You can tell that guy just eats up possession in the middle, draws people toward him, and very effective number 10 for El Paso. It'll come to Ross. They'll switch it out to Atiba Harris. Well done again, James Kiffey. And Toko on that. You can tell Brown, as Locomotive wins the throw, he just has a forwards mentality. He knew that that ball was probably going to be won by Chiro and Toko, but if it comes off his head at the wrong angle, he's ready to go to town.
It's a quality that all forwards have, all good forwards have. That ability to anticipate and know, okay, I need to go to this position in case this player missed the ball. He did a great job on that goal and was able to get rewarded by it.
Brian Rebellon played with Swope Park Rangers of the USL last season. That one will bounce. Rebellon wants to keep it in. That's kind of a slow rolling pass, but easily handled by Jerome. And Locomotive will earn the free kick. Gebhardt goes down. The hands go up from Kyle Hyland. Doesn't agree with it. But here we are in the 37th minute. And Locomotive FC have tied it up. That answer to your trivia question, Derek Gebhardt.
You see OKC adjust into Paso a little bit. Kai Highland is now starting to shift a little closer to Derek, making sure that big ball over the top is not easily played and easily received by Derek.
Ketterer will come way off his line to bounce this one into touch. He won't do that every time, but when you have someone as dangerous as Deshaun Brown, you best get out when you can.
Again, talked about that high line that he's going to have to play, and that's the reason why he's going to have to be off his line a little bit, because those balls that get played through, he has to be alert and ready to step in and cut off the danger.
Gordon. They'll call the foul on Fox, and Gordon earns the free kick.
It's unlucky there by Andrew Fox. Good job stepping in and trying to win the ball. The ref doesn't call that. He's on, and he's on a breakaway looking to find Omar Salgado. So it's a little bit of a gamble. It's not in a terrible position. I'm sure Coach Market wouldn't be too upset about that foul.
Alexi Bassetti, FIFA Under-20 World Cup winner with France in 2013. Played with Sac Republic FC, Sacramento Republic last season. He'll whip this one in to the far post. Dangerous, but headed out and over the line. Big opportunity as stepping ahead of the defense, Nicolas Terravel, the fellow Frenchman for Bassetti.
That's something we saw from OKC during their preseason game against El Paso. They definitely looked to serve the ball into the back post quite a bit, looking for a knockdown or a ball back across across the frame of the goal. So I expect them to try that a few more times. They had a bit of success with it a couple of times in the preseason game, and they almost had a good opportunity on goal in that time.
Giro and Toko. Fox and Ntoko. Nothing on the left for El Paso, so off to the right they go. Rolled way back.
OKC so tight and narrow centrally. You see Nick Ross and Sebastian looking to get out wide to create a little bit of room and space for themselves. It's not ideal. However, without tight and not many numbers OKC has centrally, that's the only place they can go to get on the ball.
It'll be a throw-in, and Kyle Highland will do the honors. He and Gebhardt battling on that right wing. A beautiful evening in El Paso. We survived the mud rain. Temperatures close to 70 degrees today, and an absolutely picture-perfect night for the inaugural game of Locomotive FC.
I think the fans will be pretty pleased with what they've seen so far.
Absolutely. And you can see the possession game as Mark Lowry and Steve Cook, a couple of United Kingdom natives, getting after it. Rebellon dusts Deshaun Brown. Decides the better of venturing any further up that wing. And here is Andrew Fox.
Again, you see Sebastian pulling out and drifting wide a little bit. That's forcing Mikael Williams to stay back a little bit and not be able to get as tight as he wants to James Kiffey.
Fox and Toko and Jerome. They'll roll it forward as Richie Ross, or Nick Ross, comes out. Well played, and a little space for Sebastian Contreras into the box. Headed by Salgado. Lifted, and it will be a goal kick. Last touched by Salgado. All he needs is an inch, but they're not giving him that inch right now.
Well done there by Brian to find Sebastian in the midfield. It was a little tight in that space, but he was able to do a good job of getting out of it and finding Sebastian with a little bit of space.
Actually didn't touch anybody. Right between the shoulder blades of Nicolas Teravel and Omar Salgado. The long ball by Lorendi, countered by the short pass by Ketterer. James Kiffey, and there will be a foul here. Richie Ryan goes to ground as he's tripped up by the playmaker Bassetti. All's well that ends well. Brian Rebellon. Jacksonville Armada, LA Galaxy 2. And of course, in South America, has had a pretty solid career. And has made some pretty heady plays up that right wing. Right back for El Paso. Ross able to get it back to Rebellon. And Ketterer to Ntoko to Jerome. That'll draw the contact. Energy wants to press. When they pick their moments, they can come after you. But long ball out of the back. And it will be a throw in for El Paso. Contreras quickly. Omar Salgado shoveled down, and this is a caution. Atiba Harris is booked in the 44th minute. And that is a big booking as he just clatters in, makes no attempt to play the ball, shovels Salgado over. That means he can't play Salgado nearly as tightly as Oklahoma City Energy FC wants him to.
I think that was part of the game. The game plan for OKC was to try to frustrate Omar as much as possible. Unfortunately, it cost Atiba Ayres a yellow card, so now he's going to have to be even more careful in terms of how tight he is and how much he's grabbing and pulling on Omar.
Richie Ryan from right at the edge of the 18-yard box. Ryan floats one to the far post, up and over. On the other side, though, sent in. Rebellon, rule cleared, but up and over the crossbar. Bounced, Lorendi could not control, and Toko sends one into downtown El Paso.
The initial service wasn't really what they wanted, but the second ball was into a dangerous area. Goalkeeper didn't necessarily do too well with it there, and Chiro was there to bounce on the punch out.
Came right to him, but Chiro and Toko gave one of the residents of these apartments off behind Southwest University Park a nice souvenir.
How much do you think one of these balls are going for?
Man, I haven't priced soccer balls recently, but I can only imagine. Oh, that's play on, says the referee. Good job by Fox, as clattering into him is Omar Gordon. Gordon will be whistled for the foul. He wanted the foul on Fox, but Fox with position, and if you have position, you're probably going to win that battle more often than not. Gordon still pleading his case. The Jamaican International, 18 caps for the Jamaican national team, Gold Cup runner-up. Andrew Fox trying to shield him. And other than the reach to try and keep him at bay, I don't see that Fox did a whole lot wrong there. Long ball. And Toko will float one, and too much for Gebhardt to handle. You talk about these USL Championship rosters, obviously depth is always an issue. It's an issue in Major League Soccer. As that is halftime. Virtually no stoppage time at all. But we are tied at the end of 45 minutes. It is El Paso Locomotive 1, Oklahoma City Energy FC 1. We'll be back to run down the highlights and plenty more as we continue. You're watching Locomotive FC. Okay.
Are we on air for any of this?
What's that?
Are we live for any of this?
Huh?
Are we live for any of this?
Yes, we are. Won't be for much again. How are we framed? Good? $30.
15.
Yeah, we're good. Welcome back, everybody. It is Locomotive FC right here on your local CW and ESPN Plus, and an incredible start just seconds into the game. Duke Keith, along with Michael Balogun. And Michael, I don't think I've ever seen a faster goal scored than the one to Deshaun Brown to open things up.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't the start that El Paso wanted. It was a great start for OKC, but it's not, look, as you can see, they settled down. You can call it first game jitters, whatever you want to call it. However, they settled down and they were able to work themselves back into the game.
Derek Gebhardt is the answer to your trivia question. Derek Gebhardt is the goal scorer for El Paso Locomotive FC. And a great sidestep up the left wing side, James Kiffey, as you see some of the highlights in this early going. And it seemed like Locomotive FC, as the game wore on after the opening minutes, really started to press the issue well.
Yeah, we definitely know that Coach Mark loves the possession style of play, so it was only a matter of time before they were able to settle down and get a hold of the game, really make the game their own, really control the tempo and the pace of the game, and that's exactly what they did.
Logan Ketterer settling things down, and there's Contreras. That is in, and Derek Gebhardt scores the opener, the very first goal in Locomotive FC history, on a great cross by El Paso's number 10, Sebastian Contreras. That guy has eaten up space all day, and everybody was ecstatic for Locomotive FC. And the crowd really getting into this one. A sellout crowd, everybody has to happy. Everybody has to be happy. We'll be back with plenty more. We'll run down some of the first half stats as we continue. You're watching Locomotive Soccer. Okay, were we on? Like camera or no? That was cool. Oh, no, yeah. Very cool. Yeah, got it. And Michael is in the bathroom, so. Okay, very cool. He's back. Got about 20. We're just going to do crowd shots, and then I'll ask you about locker room stuff, what's going on at halftime. But it'll just be crowd shots. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody, to El Paso, Texas, Locomotive FC 1, Energy FC 1. Duke Keith along with Michael Balogun, and just an amazing, amazing evening here in front of a sellout crowd. The Eighth Knot supporters in full voice this evening, and you talk about what you think the crowd means when you're on the pitch, when you're playing the game, to have a sellout crowd like this cheering you on.
It gives you a little boost of energy. As you can see, it also can create some jitters, as you can see in the early going of the
Yes.
game. So it's one of those where, as players, you have to manage that energy that's coming from the crowd and make sure you're channeling it into pushing yourself into performing.
Well, everybody in their Locomotive T-shirts and those plenty for sale. They call it's the porch, the green seats for GECU, and it is an absolutely gorgeous place to watch any game, baseball or soccer, and certainly the fans out there enjoying themselves this evening as you've got youth football going on the field. But talk about what's going on in the locker rooms right now. Coach Lowry has got to be pretty angry with the start, but I would imagine very happy with the way his team has responded over, say, the final 30 minutes of that first half.
Yeah, definitely. Any coach, it's not so much the mistakes or the mishaps that happens. It's how you respond, and they definitely responded well. And I'm sure he's commending them on that in the locker room. But also, he's very big on analytics. He's very big on showing his team what they're doing wrong or what they're doing well. So I'm sure there's something on the board from game film, actual game film, and showing the team this is where we've had success. This is what we need to improve on in the second half to get a win in.
He is very, very big on video review, and to that end, they have one of those giant smart boards where he'll show guys what he wants to see, what they did wrong, what they did right, and it'll have that to show to the players right there in the locker room.
Yeah, definitely. I think at one of the training sessions, I saw him come out with an iPad, so it's definitely it's not something crazy for him to do that in the locker room.
We'll be back with plenty more here from halftime in El Paso, Texas.
Great goal from Derek. We saw Sebastian. He's been a key player in this first half, getting on the ball and being creative in the attacking half. Seeing him with some nifty footwork and getting a cross off to Derek Gebhardt at the back post. That's something that we should look out for in the second half. I expect Sebastian to get on the ball quite a bit more in the second half so they can create more opportunities for the team going forward. It's going to be an entertaining and exciting second half. I'm really looking forward to see the adjustments that both teams make to get a win in this opening game.
Okay, what are we doing?
The crowds they've been into this game all game long. They showed up early. They've been loud. They definitely didn't get quiet once OKC scored their early goal. So they've definitely been involved in this game, and they understand that they're going to be an important part of pushing this team to getting that first win on opening day. So it's really important to the fans to stay engaged in this game and continue to push this team forward.
Well, I think that has not been an issue at all in El Paso, Texas this evening as the sellout crowd. This is a team, and we talked about it in the first half a little bit. It's a city that knows the game, and you can tell it with every foul, with every push, with every shove. They're on it, and they are cheering
a feeling for a player.
Absolutely. As Locomotive FC in front of the sellout crowd here in El Paso, Texas, has tied it up versus Energy FC. You talk about the speed of that goal, but you also talked about how it is that the team responds, and Locomotive FC kept their heads about them. You've got veterans, guys like Nick Ross, like Richie Ryan, like your defensive line, Chiro Ntoko and Mishak Jerome. It's not the first time quick goals have happened to them. They turn right around and go get the job done.
Definitely. You saw Omar being a leader, doing what he's brought here to do, being a leader on the field, telling his team, let's go, let's go. This is not what we expected. It's not what we planned for. However, we can't just throw everything out of the bag. We can't just forget about our game plan and worry about the goal. So I thought it was a great response, not just by the back line, but also by Omar, cheering on his team, pushing them on, and getting them to get a tying goal.
Well, you talk about Omar Salgado and the road he has taken to get here. We touched on it a little bit. Injuries early on in his career, obviously the #1 overall selection by the Vancouver Whitecaps of Major League Soccer, El Paso's first #1 pick in any draft. We've had some pretty solid baseball players, some basketball players from time to time as the team gets ready to come back out onto the pitch. But here's a guy who has needed to show himself to his home crowd and needed to show himself that he can get the job done, stay injury-free, stay relevant, and certainly he is doing that and getting to do so in front of his home fans.
Yeah, and I'm sure, knowing him as a player, I'm sure he's itching to get a goal, to be able to celebrate his first game, his first goal in front of his family, in front of his friends. I think he's definitely itching to get a goal, and I think you'll look for him to push a little bit more, especially against Atiba Harris, who has a yellow card in the second half.
That is one of the dangerous things as we get ready to kick things off. I think that we are just about back to play here in El Paso, Texas. It'll be Richie Ryan ready to restart things. To Sebastian Contreras, tries a fancy bit of a move. Couldn't quite get it, but Contreras will regain possession. As Rebellon, the back pass to Logan Ketterer. Locomotive FC. Ready to restart here in front of the home fans. What are you looking for in the second half, Michael, as this team tries to get that lead? They definitely want to win. Great work here. The big shot, just wide. Good work by James Kiffey. Right off the bat, Kiffey found himself with the ball at his feet. Just a little off target.
Yeah, El Paso is showing that not only can they play the possession short pass game, but they also can be dangerous on the bigger ball. Mishak has played a couple of great balls early in the second half, and you just saw another one by him. I think the second half is going to be really interesting for El Paso how they deal with OKC's backline being stretched a little bit more. OKC knows that El Paso can play those bigger balls, so you start seeing Mikael Williams open up a little bit earlier. You start seeing Kyle open up a little bit earlier, and now there's gaps between their lines for Sebastian and Nick Ross to run through.
It bounces nicely for Contreras as Locomotive FC gets to shoot towards section 105, right behind the goal, and those eighth notch supporters. Interesting name they picked. The eighth notch is basically when you open up the throttle on a locomotive all the way. And a great nickname for your supporters group because they've been pretty full throttle all game long.
Little high press there by Deshaun Brown, forcing Mishak to misplay the ball.
Conversely, if you're Steve Cook, what are you looking for from your Energy FC team?
Continue to do what you did in the first half, looking to play those bigger balls over the top, either winning that first one or looking to pick up the second one that bounces down. I think they added some success early on in the first half with that, so I wouldn't expect them to deviate from that too much.
Omar Gordon skies one. There was a lot of air into that cross from Kyle Highland, but Gordon did get open to take it, just wasn't able to steer it anywhere near close to go. Locomotive playing out of the back. Mishak Jerome. Up to Salgado. Wasn't able to get there, but great work again by El Paso, trying to reset it. Contreras, lead ball to Salgado. Too many white and green jerseys. But good pressure on Mikael Williams, and that'll be a foul. And a caution issued. Second caution of the night for Thompson, and that is on James Kiffey. In the 49th minute. So Kiffey goes into Mark Thompson's book. Matthew Thompson, I should say. Lorendi. Comes all the way to the right wing, and Williams. A little too much sugar into that one.
See Marco Lowry on the sideline over there, egging his players to push forward, to really press OKC, to force those bigger balls to be played. He knows that's the way for them to get the ball back with their pressure, with their high press. If they do it correctly, all OKC can do is play those big balls over the top, and then you have Logan there just scooping everything up.
That'll roll into touch for El Paso. Salgado on the back of Mikael Williams. Kiffey giving off to Fox for the throw-in.
Interesting here, we have Chiro staying as close to Deshaun Brown as possible. You just saw him and Mishak switch positions. I think that's something that they addressed at halftime to make sure you have Chiro close to him.
Snotted just wide. Derek Gebhardt got his head to it. Kiffey, great ball across, maybe a little too much on it, but Gebhardt was there at the far post.
It's a great serve by James Kiffey on his weaker foot. I think Derek has definitely won that one black. He's won that one back. James Kiffey served it on the platter for him. He'll definitely be ruining that one.
And he was wide open. Lorendi restarting. Mikael Williams. And you can see Locomotive pressing. Atiba Harris does well to just get it off his foot, but here is a little chip played back into the middle, trying to get that one back into the edge of the area as Nick Ross didn't go where he wanted to. Here's Contreras, rolls one to Kiffey. Atiba Harris taking care of that one. That will bounce in for Lorendi, and he'll pick it up as it deflected.
Pressure is definitely picked up from El Paso here in the second half. They've created a couple of opportunities and bad passes from OKC. I think if they can continue to press the way they've started the second half, they can definitely create an opportunity to get a goal here in the second half.
Lorendi. Well done, Omar Gordon, though. Handled by Ntoko. Put into touch by El Paso. Cordell Cato could not steer that one in to push it further upfield. The throw in from Kyle Highland. Long throw in. Highland's got a bit of a gun. Cleared away. Highland straight into the teeth of the Locomotive defense. And Chiro and Toko knows what to do with it. Now it'll come for Gordon. Fakes the cross. Hammers one, and always rising.
One thing I've noticed for the start of the second half is Chiro paying a little more attention to Deshaun Brown. I think Coach Marks had that conversation with him at halftime and asking and tasking Chiro with neutralizing that threat by Deshaun Brown.
Well played by Rebellon. Brian Rebellon finds the open space. Richie Ryan. Back to Jerome. And up to Nick Ross. The Scot. Into the middle, Contreras trying to control. Got away from him a little bit. Callum Ross does well. As does Rafa Garcia. Atiba Harris. Contreras. Looking for a foul. A long throw in, and how about Deshaun Brown? Rolls one into the far post. Ketterer couldn't get there in time. And Energy FC, Deshaun Brown with his second of the game in the 54th minute.
And that's why he's such a dangerous player. What looked like nothing looked like just a simple throw, and he was able to get in, use his pace to get in behind the defense. And again, I think that's where Chiro might have fell asleep a little bit, didn't get tight, didn't get close enough to him, and he was able to make them pay.
Deshaun Brown with all of the speed in the world, the Jamaican international. 20 goals with Colorado Rapids before heading overseas, and he shows why Steve Cook wanted to bring him back to be a part of his team in Oklahoma City. 54th minute goal, giving Energy FC the lead. And a couple of defensive miscues that Deshaun Brown was ready to poach. Kiffy. Contreras, that one's deflected.
Well, we know El Paso they're capable of responding to a goal. They did it in the first half. They'll definitely need to do it again here in the second half. It's not the position that they wanted to put themselves in or wanted to find themselves in. However, that's what they're working with now.
It'll be Fox in the throw-in to Contreras. They give him some space. Contreras whips one in, and it's behind Omar Salgado. Good work by Gebhardt to go get it. Rebellon sidesteps the pressure provided by Brown, and Locomotive will switch it. Here's Fox. They give him an opening. Fox, Salgado trying to turn. Hasn't been able to generate much. They have just not let the man loose. And misplayed. Out for an Energy FC throw. Well, we've seen the Locomotive respond in the first half. Trying to do so again, Deshaun Brown, double teamed. Rebellon clears it out, but Rafa Garcia keeps it moving. Work it into Cato, but good work by Locomotive. Lots of space eaten up by Contreras, who'll put it back into the middle for Ross. Quick switch for Ryan. Rebellon to Richie Ryan. They'll try to draw him out a little bit.
Paso, unfortunately, unable to capitalize on the loose ball on the counter there. Not enough players forward, so having to pull it back.
Cross by Gebhardt. Didn't get what he wanted from that. And rolled out for a throw. Quickly taken by Rebellon. Contreras. Maybe thought somebody was making a run. It looked more like a lofted cross than a shot. I don't know if he was trying to chip to the far post or what exactly.
Yeah, definitely like some miscommunication there. Well, the one thing we noticed is Sebastian has definitely shown his quality in this game. He's shown that he's an important part of this team, and he's going to be an important part of this team going forward. Every time he gets on the ball, something happens, and that's definitely something that El Paso needs from him to be able to get a second goal in this game.
Cody Lorende, as we pointed out, one of 8 international players brought in by Steve Cook or on the team already. We talked about Deshaun Brown. Good work to spring some room up the right. Rebellon still going. Brian Rebellon will pull it back. Well played to Ross. The cross on the run taken by Lorende.
It's a great run from Brian there. Unfortunately, it wasn't. You had Omar and Derek making the same run. Wasn't sure which one to play, so he pulled it back and was able to find Ross for the cross.
Lorende sends one high in the air. Mikel Williams having some issues. And it will be a foul. Locomotive and Ross earning the free kick as Callum Ross. Well, Newcastle is close to Scotland. I don't know if Callum and Nick are related, but perhaps not. As there you see Mark Lowry issuing instructions on the sideline. J.C. Garzon, Locomotive's keeper coach. Richie Ryan, nicely done. Floated over to Contreras into the middle. Ross trying to control and could not. Thrown out by Deshaun Brown, who wants a little more help from his defense. Saying I'm a forward, I shouldn't have to come all the way back for that.
There's a good idea by El Paso looking to get in and play a quick short one into Sebastian. Again, he's been all over the field tonight. He's created so many opportunities for El Paso. And for them to get a goal, for them to pull something out of this game, he's going to be a big part of that.
Mishak Jerome. Rebellon. And the reset. And Toko will let it roll. I think the better of working up that wing. Giro and Toko catching Rebellon on the run. Could not control it. Strike it, that's Gebhardt. But it is in touch for El Paso. Dealt with by Energy FC, and here is Rebellon. Throws it to a spot. Gebhardt comes to get it. Rebellon quickly with Ross. A little 1-2. Rebellon runs down his man. Play on. Matthew Thompson is letting them play some pretty physical soccer today.
I like that you see Brian getting a little more involved in the game, looking to get forward a little bit more. That's definitely something that's important. It's going to force OKC wingers to have to drop back a little bit more and defend in their defensive third.
Good touch, or at least a try by Salgado, who has just been starved for service in Atiba Harris. Yellow card. Still effective. Energy FC content to let the clock run. The TNT International, Trinidad and Tobago, Mikel Williams. Lofts one, the header. Ketterer way off his line. Ross and Richie Ryan having to come help out. Collision. Mikel Williams. It'll roll out for an El Paso throw-in. Sebastian Contreras felt that one. Well, a good ball out from the back. Kiffy. Nifty move. Contreras chipping this one in. Ross playing it back. Kiffy again. Whipping one in and out for the corner. Dealt with by Energy FC, but El Paso inching forward piece by piece, and Sebastian Contreras will take this one from the left side.
It's a great opportunity for El Paso to get that second goal.
Contreras with the apple on the first one, into the box, and chipped clear by Omar Gordon's noggin. Out for Jerome. Ryan rolled to the left. And again, Contreras showing that footwork. You can tell where they want to bring him in from. The shot up high, having to tip it out of the way. Lorendi, a tremendous save off of Rebellon.
Great to see those two guys combining. And Sebastian has really gotten involved in the second half. And same thing with Brian, getting up the field from the right back position. You see him getting off a shot there. If those two guys continue to get involved in this game, good things will happen for El Paso.
Lorendi keeping this a 2-1 game in favor of Energy FC. That was a heck of a save. Here's Contreras. He'll get that one in short. Chipped out by Highland. Back to Sebastian Contreras. Up over the heads, but now to Rafa Garcia. Rebellon bringing it down. Chased off the ball. Good job by Cordell Cato defensively, but a little extra. Well, keep on playing. So they do. Rebellon. Gebhardt couldn't keep that one. But you see the pressure. Keeping it moving. And now they'll call a foul, much to the chagrin of the crowd. A little too much extra action on Rafa Garcia, they say. Nick Ross doesn't like it. So you see the replay. Cody Lorendi. And Oklahoma City about ready to bring in a sub. Looks like it's going to be Cal Alcott. And Matthew Thompson saying, Alexi Bossetti, you can take as long as you want, but the clock has stopped while you march your way off. So Bossetti out for Cal Alcott.
Not necessarily a like for like. Alcott is more of a holding midfielder, where Alexi is more of an attacking-minded midfielder. I think this is a calculated move by Steve Cook, looking to shore up his midfield as they look to come out here with this win.
Having to do some work on Cordell Cato, but does. Up to Gebhardt, Meshach Jerome, Rebellon. The passes are there. Play on, says the referee. And now it will be a free kick for El Paso. Here's Contreras. Kiffy. Kiffy. Short cross in behind. And rolled out for a throw.
It's going to have to be a better delivery there to beat OKC.
And chipped out. Atiba Harris, and that will be another corner for El Paso. Ross challenging Harris. And here is Contreras. Locomotive, no shortage of opportunities. In from the corners. Contreras. Outswinger. Headed down and wide. That was Fox who got free. But again, Locomotive not able to really steer anything on target. Fox did well to get up.
They're creating their chances. Just got to put one in the back of the net.
Headed up, Meshach Jerome. With a little Jackie Chan to clear it out. Atiba Harris lofts one, trying to earn some position as Cato. Dealt with nicely, though, by El Paso. We'll roll it to Callum Ross. Going to ground is Omar Gordon. No calls. It's chipped. Ross going back to try and clean up his errant pass, but it's Rafa Garcia with possession. Good work by Harris to get away from Rebellon, or by Garcia, I should say. And Oklahoma City will have the throw in. Kyle Highland has shown that he can whip these into the box. No foot necessary. Completely off the screen for that long run up for the throw in. Trust me, he's down there. All the way up and in. Nothing but blue jerseys in the middle there. And Energy FC will try to take the air out of things. Atiba Harris, the switch. Brown offside, let it roll. There's Highland. Whip that one in, and it's going to be a corner kick. Good work by Kyle Highland. Again, in his 80th appearance.
Looks like Coach Mark is getting someone ready for a sub over there. I'd imagine as Joshua Katsayan looking to come in, either in as a central player or as a wide player. Be interested to see where Coach Mark brings him in.
High lofted cross. Good work by Fox to put a head to it and nod it wide. It'll be a throw in for Energy FC. Content to be slow, leading 2-1 here in the 71st minute. And time beginning to run low on Mark Lowry and Locomotive FC in their debut here in El Paso. Deshaun Brown in the first minute and again in the 54th to give Energy FC the lead. Coming after the equalizer from Derek Gebhardt in the 16th. Lofted and easily dealt with by Logan Ketterer. One of the unique things about this ballpark is it is right over the top of a freight line that goes directly through downtown El Paso. So you want to talk about Locomotive. You can hear the rumble of the trains from time to time as they pass through. Richie Ryan earning the free kick. A little extra from Rafa Garcia, says Matthew Thompson.
OKC is definitely very content to break up play, slow the game down as much as possible. You'll see that as the game continues. Little fouls to slow up possessions and break up possession, and then standing on the ball to keep them from quick restarts.
Omar Gordon and Kiffey are really doing battle. Kiffey able to lift it out of trouble to Fox, and they'll restart from the right side. As the 8th notch, trying to get their team back into it. Rolled to a spot, but no blue jerseys nearby. How hard is it for a team just starting off to try and build a culture out of nothing? You know, the Energy FC has been around for 6 seasons, and that's not a terribly long time, but that's multiple seasons to kind of build on what you've done prior. Is it any more difficult?
There are some challenges to it. However, that's part of the reason why Coach Mark, in building this team, was able to select some of the players that he's worked with in the past, but also going international a little bit and looking for players with experience, whether that's playing in South America or in Europe. He's built this team with some youth, but also a lot of experience.
Good space for Rebellon. They'll pull it up and decide to go forward. Omar Salgado has had a man on his back all night long. Kiffy looking for Salgado, but it's whipped out for a throw-in by OKC. Energy FC under Steve Cook in his first season. 12-15 and 7, as that one will be a goal kick. A little challenge from Kiffy up that left wing side. No angle.
See Omar doing a great job holding the ball off in the build-up. However, that's not what he wants to do. That's not how he's going to get his goals. He's looking to run off of players and possibly looking to get on the end of a cross. So we're going to El Paso is going to really need to use Omar in a different way to be able to capitalize on his strengths.
Such a strong forward, can play with his back to the net, but does well with the ball at his feet too. Rolled back to Ketterer. Sebastian Contreras called for the foul. Clearing out Callum Ross. No changes as of yet from Mark Lau, right? But you would imagine there might be a furious spate over the final 15 minutes plus stoppage time. Wafted. Give possession back to El Paso.
Got a few guys moving over there on the sideline looking to warm themselves up, get themselves ready to come into the game. Again, not exactly sure who Coach Mark is going to look to bring in. However, they're going to need to be ready to make an immediate impact.
Rebellon will throw it in. Gebhardt chipped one back for Ross. Well played just to keep some possession. Ryan will go back to the middle. Side to side with possession, and here's Kiffy, who has been electric up that left side, to Contreras, who has the assist on Gebhardt's opening goal for Locomotive FC. Contreras whips one. Looking for Gebhardt, got a foot to it, but it will go for the goal kick. Gebhardt having to contend with Kyle Hyland, and he is hurt.
Again, you have Sebastian there creating a lot for them in the midfield, looking to get on the ball and really be unpredictable with the ball at his feet. That's a great look to the back post for Derek. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get on the end of it.
There you see the replay, just an awkward landing. And they're having to come over to take a look.
It's a great time for the players to catch their breath, really compose themselves. You see a few of the players having conversations on the field. I'm sure they're looking for ways to break down the defense. Unfortunately, due to the rules, because Derek is off the field, the referee is not needing to stop the game. The game can continue while he gets treatment off the field.
And it will be the restart by Lorendi. Gebhardt is up under his own steam, and that's good to see. Stuart Wright, the athletic trainer for Locomotive FC, making sure that Gebhardt is well enough to continue. He does still look a little shaky.
Not exactly sure what happened there. It looks like he's holding his lower back. But hopefully he's able to continue. He's definitely be one of the bright spots for El Paso tonight, so they definitely need him to be able to go.
Stuart Wright giving the thumbs up back to the Locomotive bench. But time beginning to run out here in El Paso, Texas. Ross catches the bit of the turf. Here's Salgado. Callum Ross does well. they'll say Salgado fouled him. Cordell Cato. Callum Ross from Newcastle, England. Signed from the Charlotte Independent University. Highland, that pass did not go as planned. Here's Salgado. He'll take it and take some air out of this. Push it into the corner. Trying to drag some energy. Locomotive in the 80th minute will bring on Joshua Castellanos. Another Jacksonville Armada player, familiar to Mark Lowry. All the way to the far post, tipped wide. Agony for Andrew Fox. The ball deflected right to him, but he wasn't able to steer it on frame. And a huge chance goes wanting for the home side.
Huge look of disbelief on his face. You can see Omar Salgado react to the missed opportunity. I'm sure he's wishing and wanting that to have fallen to his feet.
I'm sure Andrew Fox was. But coming to El Paso from Grimsby Town in League of FC's opening night.
It's a lack of communication there from Logan and Chiro, not doing a good job picking up the runner. It's a great ball into the box. However, they have to do a better job dealing with that, whether that's Chiro coming out to clear there or Logan calling him off. That's too deep into the box for neither of them not to deal with it.
81st minute goal by Cordell Cato. With only minutes remaining for Locomotive FC, and Energy FC will bring on Christian Isley. And they will sub out Omar Gordon here in the 82nd. A lot of work to do and not a lot of time to do it for Locomotive if they want anything out of this game. But the offense has to show up now, and Richie Ryan showing the frustration as he takes down Deshaun Brown.
Not sure what the referee saw there. It looked like Sebastian got the ball and was able to win it and play it back to Chiro. Unfortunately, the referee saw something differently, and that's why the foul was called.
Well, Brown is slow to get up, but seems to be able to.
No surprise there. He's going to take his time. They're up 3-1. He's going to milk it as much as possible, look to waste as much and run as much of the clock as possible.
Well, Locomotive FC have certainly had their chances, but after the huge miss by Andrew Fox, Energy FC plays a long ball out of the back, a little Route 1 soccer for you, and Cordell Cato with perhaps the seal of the deal in the 81st minute.
That miss by Andrew is even much more magnified now because OKC was able to come down the field and score within minutes of Andrew missing that goal.
Nicholas Terravel back to restart things. Start them young. Eighth Knot supporters of all ages here in El Paso, Texas. That's lifted down. I don't think Isley knew he was anywhere near the ball. El Paso must work quickly. Mishak Jerome to Ketterer.
We see a slight change here from Coach Mark, looking to play Derek a little more centrally. It looks like two forwards, possibly switching to a 3-5-2 with 3 in the back between Mishak, Chiro, and Andrew, 5 in the midfield, and then those 2 up top between Derek and Omar.
Isley did well to win the ball away from Gebhardt, who's back in the game, but they weren't able to keep possession. Castellanos swept aside. Dealt with by Ryan. Contreras, little room to roam up the middle. Lost a handle on it, and Highland gives it a ride. Giro and Toko. Kiffey back to Andrew Fox. Gebhardt. And Fox. Locomotive trying to find their way through, but Energy's packed it in, haven't they?
Yeah, they're definitely content to hold on to this 3-1 lead. It's up to Locomotive to push the tempo a little bit now and look to get one back quickly.
Good switch by Jerome, off to Kiffey. Kiffey to Fox. Fox, up it'll come, trying to bring it down. How about this into the side netting? But Omar Salgado finally able to get a shot away.
That's well done by Omar, able to hold off Atiba Harris. Again, that's where that yellow card comes in handy. He has to be a little more cautious. He's inside the box. He has a yellow card, so he can't play him as tight as he did early on in the game. Well done by Omar there.
And Atiba Harris got a piece, so it's another corner. The outswinger knotted out. Good work by Ross to clear it, but straight back to Jerome. He'll loft it to the right wing side, and Castellanos. Good work, it's actually Kiffey who's playing on the right. Lofted in at the edge of the 6. Knotted, easily handled by Lorendi, who will go to ground. That was Castellanos in the area. Oh, it bounced right where they didn't want it to be. Ketterer does well to clear it away, but ready to do some poaching again was Cordell Cato. Locomotive trying to catch them on the counter, but Energy FC has it well sniffed out. Isley, lots of room down that left side. Content to let it go into the corner. He knows he'll be double teamed. Good work.
Sebastian has been all over the field.
That was Contreras. Yeah. My goodness. I was about to say he's a bit out of position, but you're right. He's everywhere.
He's done it on the defensive end, and most definitely he's been around on the offensive side of the ball, so well done by him.
Marco Bustos into the game for Energy FC. Earning a throw in. And not a lot Locomotive can do about it without the ball. Pressure provided by Andrew Fox, but here you'll see everybody will take their turn. No, it's my throw in. No, it's your throw in. Anything to keep that clock moving. Of course, the clock always moves in soccer. It's one of the more intense things in the game when you are challenged, as Locomotive FC was in the opening seconds. On the goal by Deshaun Brown, we'll have to check and see if it was the fastest. It has to be among the fastest in USL Championship history. But you don't get to call a timeout. You don't get to stop the clock and talk about it. You have to answer the bell.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's something that Coach Mark is going to address this week in training. If you think about it, all 3 goals were balls played over the top.
Looking for a penalty but not getting it as Omar Salgado. Atiba Harris on him again. Fans want the call. And Matthew Thompson. Will drop it to restart play. Salgado has them draped all over him. And I will say, this is Energy FC. If this is effective and there are no calls, this is the way teams are going to play Omar Salgado all season long.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the things about being new to the league. Once he scores a couple of goals, the referees will start knowing who he is, and then they'll give him a couple of calls. They'll start looking to protect him a little bit.
Substitution, the last for Steve Cook for Energy FC in the 90th minute. Cordell Cato, the goal scorer, for the third goal comes off. Christian Ibiaga on for Energy FC.
Ibiaga was a huge part of their team last year, started a majority of their games. He's definitely someone that's really, really nice to bring off the bench. Shows you the strength of this OKC squad if you have someone like him coming off the bench for you in Coach Steve Cook's second season.
Taravel is down, looking for a call. He will get none. Here's a shot. Richie Ryan tees one up. It'll go out of play, and white jerseys dropping everywhere. 3 minutes of stoppage time here in El Paso, and that's all she wrote. A little slow to get up is Nicholas Taravel. Coming to Oklahoma City from Grenoble in Ligue 2. I hope I did the French justice there.
Don't ask me to do it.
You got to figure if it's Ligue 1, it would be Ligue 2, if I remember my high school French. Now the restart in stoppage time, but Energy FC. Memory serves, this was the scoreline of the exhibition, was it not?
It was actually 2-1 in the exhibition. The one thing that I'm noticing is the fans are sticking around. Obviously, there's 3 minutes left in the game, or maybe even less than that. However, these fans they're sticking around. They're supporting their team. They understand how important it is to have a soccer team here in El Paso, and they're willing to support them regardless of what the scoreline is.
A little bit of desmadre, as they say in El Paso. Omar Salgado being shoveled to the ground and getting the assistance of his teammates quickly. Played into space. Rebellon skied that one. And a goal kick allowing Energy FC and Steve Cook's squad to take their time. We talked about Energy FC missing the playoffs last season, but ready to make some noise with their offseason acquisitions. 8 international players who've played for their country. 11 new pickups. Here is Gebhardt. Played into space. Chiro and Toko way up. Salgado looking to deflect it, but Lorendi does well to push it up and over. Mishak Jerome into the box. They've brought Chiro and Toko into the middle to deal with some of those headers. He scored one in the preseason. As a matter of fact, the very first preseason goal. Kiffy. He's put in some great work, as has Contreras, in and just over the crossbar. It will be a goal kick, but that is it. Matthew Thompson blows the whistle. The final is Energy FC 3, Locomotive FC 1. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll interview our Estrella of the match from Locomotive FC. You are watching Locomotive FC Soccer on your local CW and ESPN+. Welcome back, everybody, to Southwest University Park as it is a final. Oklahoma City Energy FC 3, the El Paso Locomotive 1 in Locomotive FC's debut in the USL Championship. Duke Keith along with Michael Balogun. And Michael, it was a disappointing start to the season for El Paso, but nonetheless, the fans got to see a goal, and they got to see why everybody is so passionate about this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a great night for the fans. It wasn't how they wanted to turn out, how they wanted to finish. However, it was a great night for the fans. There's professional soccer here in El Paso, and that's something to celebrate. So I think for the fans, regardless of the score, to be able to be a part of this, to be able to see this actually come into fruition in El Paso, it was terrific.
You see the eighth notch as the team applauds the home fans and especially the supporter section, section 105 here in El Paso, Texas, as they head off the field. And the passion is definitely there. This is a city, we talked about it during the match, that knows its soccer, that loves its soccer. It is a wonderful thing to have USL Championship soccer in the Sun City.
Yeah, and I think this team has a lot to look forward to going forward. Again, the score wasn't exactly what they wanted. However, they showed a lot of bright spots. They showed a lot of quality on the field tonight. So I don't think it's going to be something that the fans need to worry about too much, but it's definitely something that's going to be, they're going to work and they're going to get better at going forward.
Just one of 34 here from El Paso, Texas. Locomotive FC is in the mix. We'll see you next time.